welcome to LoveBytes, the show where we debug romance. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist.
I am not a patient.
I don't have a degree in sociology or psychology, but what I do have is wealth of experience and a sincere desire to help you. Because sometimes love can get messy. Sometimes, if you're not careful, love bites. Hey everybody, and welcome to LoveBytes, the show where we, discuss romance problems in the best way possible, because we are both. Well, you clearly see my qualifications. Ryan, what are your qualifications? And welcome to Ryan, our guest, by the way.
Welcome to Ryan.
Welcome to Ryan.
Hello, Neil. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. My qualifications?
Your qualifications. Tell me about your degree.
None.
None?
I have a BS in
romance?
In romance. No. We are not professionals. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Please do not sue us when you follow our terrible advice.
The advice dispensed is not to be mistaken or replaced for that of a qualified therapist or physician.
Exactly.
That said, I'm pretty awesome, and if you would like your life to also be filled with incessant banging and surprise mayonnaise, tune into the next hour, and yeah, we'll rock your world.
That's probably the best intro that's ever happened. So before we fuck it up, let's move on. Let's hop right into our first question. Hey Neil, love the show. So I recently turned 18, and I'm yet to be in a serious relationship. When I was about 12 years old, I met this girl in school, when she was in the same year as me, but maybe not in the same class. Anyway, I was desperately in love with her, but she always saw me as more of a friend. She kept giving me the signals and signs of affection once in a while, which really confused me, because one day we could text all day, chat on Facebook and whatnot. You're texting all day when you're 12? Oh my god, what the fuck world do we live in?
It's a different generation. Just roll with it.
Oh my god, I'm so old. I'm so old. Chat on Facebook and whatnot and just have a blast together, just talking. And the next day, she would totally ignore me, avoid me, or whatever. Things like this went on for the next 3 to 4 years. It got to the point where at a party, we fell asleep together, holding hands, cuddled up together. Yeah, I was like 14. But later, the next day, in fear of her ignoring me, I asked in a text if she would want to go on a date with me sometime. She said yes. I was over the moon. This date never happened. What happened was the same shit of ignoring me. She even cut off friendship with her best friend, presumably because I was great friends with her too, and their friendship meant not being able to avoid me. Obviously, this kind of hurt me, and ever since I have been incredibly scared of being hurt again in this way. Just thinking about those years makes me feel very bad. I have been in other relationships after those series of events. One of them was great for a while. We had a bunch of sex and hung out quite a bit. But she lived in a town 2 hours away, so there were weeks where we couldn't see each other. After about 4 months of this, she just said this was never anything serious and that she doesn't want a monogamous anything. Luckily, I saw it coming with my low self-esteem and fear of being hurt. I always felt like I had to expect it, to not be completely destroyed when the inevitable breakup happens. My most recent relationship was short-lived. I basically couldn't deal with it because I'm too scared of making a fool out of myself again. So how can I deal with this? I'm now 18 and I want a relationship without the fucking pressure I put on myself. How can I suppress my feelings of anxiety and fear surrounding relationships? Boom.
Whew. It's a long one right there.
I told you.
A lot of backstory. Where to even start? I feel like I need to make a second disclaimer.
Do it.
That I'm a cynical asshole, and the advice dispensed is not to be taken for advice. It's for it's not advice for the one guy who sends in his question. It's going to be entertainment for the 99 others in chat.
All right, I will answer your question sincerely and honestly.
For a serious answer.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell him to eat some steak and go to the gym. And
is that what your answer is? Eat some steak and go to the gym?
Same advice to every question. So
really, like that's your answer? Eat some steak, go to the gym, just man it up.
No. Well, why don't you start? we'll get into it.
Well, no, I want to hear your answer. You gave that great.
I mean, the source of his anxiety sounds like he's overthinking things. So, I mean, you want to get over your anxiety with women, talk to women, get over your anxiety. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, and I think a lot of us nerdlings can relate to those feelings, but
Yeah, the shit is all too frequent and all too terrible. It sounds like the person that you were not dating but hanging out with, that you were head over heels for, was kind of a terrible human being who would kind of
I,
just be awful.
I mean,
Like,
that's what high school relationships are for a lot of
well,
people.
excuse me, I never had a high school relationship, as you well know. But it was like, I mean, oh yay, we're all hanging out. Let's go into. I'm not talking to you. I mean, it kind of actually reminds me of you know who, which was terrible. It was awful. I once upon a time had a girlfriend who, like, completely ignored me, and it was awful, and was like the worst thing ever. Like we were, supposedly
It sounds like
dating,
this
but I'd
wasn't
go
even.
to like hang out at her house, and she'd like, oh, I'm gonna go like change my clothes, and then be gone for an hour, and then when I finally like knock on her door and be like, hey, what the hell? She's like, oh, I'm just drawing in my comic book, and I'm like, I've been sitting on your couch with your mom, like, waiting for you, and last time I checked up on you, you're like not ready, and now you're just hanging out. What the fuck, right? So first off, don't worry about it. Some people are just assholes.
Yeah.
Some people are just terrible. They really are, and you may start off with a terrible person, and then you have to, learn that other people aren't awful. I was really lucky because the very next relationship was the exact opposite. It was someone who, you know, was very nice and who really appreciated me and all that fun stuff, and that really helped me like go from absolutely no self-esteem, no one's ever going to love me, clearly love is just people being assholes to each other, and now I'm just sad and lonely, to, oh no, fuck that, I'm awesome, she was awful, sort of thing.
How old is this guy? 18?
Recently turned 18.
So you're 18. It doesn't matter. You don't need a girlfriend. I mean, have fun, meet girls, but don't stress about this stuff. Get out there, and I think your anxiety will disappear with time as you get more comfortable talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Take a dance class.
Take a dance class. Seriously, dude. No, seriously, dude. Take a dance class. I'm not even kidding you. Listen to In Control was like, oh yeah, I used to take dance classes to impress Anna before we were, married. Brian and I, dance class. Brian, where'd you meet your girlfriend?
Dance class.
Where'd I meet my girlfriend?
You do not take a dance class to meet girls in the dance class. Let's get that out.
Yes,
of the way.
you do.
No. There are much more efficient ways to meet women.
Like what? Name one.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, track record wise, like how many years of dancing and how many women you met over those years. It's a pretty.
Every girl I've ever gone out with, except for one, I met through either dancing or Aikido.
It's because that's all you did.
Well, you know what? It worked. It was beautiful. It worked. I'm just saying. So, don't worry about it, dude. These people are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, focus on yourself, before you worry about, like, catching a woman. I don't know. I mean, you can't influence what other people do, but you can work on yourself, cultivate an interesting personality, and the women will flock to you.
Yeah.
Eat some steak, go to the gym.
Eat some steak, go to the gym. The happier you are with yourself, the happier other people are going to be with you. So, if you're ever at a point where you're not sure what to do and you kind of want someone else, forget all other people. Ignore women in terms of like relationships. You can still be friends with them and whatnot. But like, do not seek relationships. Seek self-improvement. And then when people are like, "Oh my God, that guy is just doing all these cool things," and he's pretty cool. Then they'll come after you. But when you're like, "Hi, I'm looking for someone," then you have this aura of like looking for someone, and then people don't like that. So,
and I think you'd even be surprised. Like if you are not looking for a relationship, is when you most of the time seem to stumble into them.
No, you stumble into interested parties as soon as you become not single. As soon as you're in a relationship, then you have people flocking to you. It's the worst.
Okay. But I mean, if you're looking for a relationship, it's just not going to happen because you're building it up and got all this anxiety. Whereas if you're not looking to meet someone, you can just sort of takes the pressure off of you.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Sure.
Hi. A friend of mine recently, a week or so, broke up with her boyfriend after a verbally abusive 2-year relationship. I've grown fond of her, but respectively kept my distance. I've been supportive of her during a rough time. How long should I wait before broaching the subject of dating? Weeks? Months? Thanks for answering my question. Smiley face. Sincerely, don't want to be in friend zone.
How
Months.
long? What was the timeline on this?
They were verbally abusive relationship for 2 years. She was going to need some time to get over that shit.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out the timeline.
If you want,
How long ago was the breakup?
a week or
Is that
so.
clear?
A week or so.
Yeah, give it more time. I wouldn't even.
I mean, if you want to be the rebound guy, you go now.
Yeah.
If you want like actual potential, give her a couple of months. Watch her go through rebound guy, and then approach.
Yeah.
I would say no less than a month, but probably closer to 4 or 5 months, maybe even more.
Yeah, I would say don't even put a timeline on it. Don't even think about getting in a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's not to say that she may not go for it, but I don't think you want to be involved with that.
What do you mean? You don't want to be involved with a person who had a verbally abusive relationship beforehand? These people are not worthy of relationships ever again in their life?
No, I didn't. What? That's not what I said at all. I mean, you don't want to be involved with that right now. You don't want to be the rebound guy to an abusive relationship. I mean, be there, support her as a friend, and see where it goes.
Yeah, just make sure that your support.
Don't put a timeline on it. Don't expect like, oh, after a month, and if I'm not in her pants, then it's over.
Also, remember that when you're supporting someone, one of the best things that they need for support is normalcy. Don't make it all about them. You don't want to be their guardian angel who's there 24/7. Yeah, like make sure that you still talk about yourself, and you're still like you still want to treat her like you would treat your other friends, your other guy friends, even where you're like hanging out and you're doing fun stuff. And yeah, you'll talk about her issues when they come up, and you can be there for her when she needs you. But the rest of the time, like you don't make it about her. Make it about you guys together. You can't. People aren't interested in someone who is there to service them. At least not people that you want in your life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was gonna say something like that. Where I mean, I don't even know how. I mean, you can be supportive, but I don't know. I mean, if you're, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, go on. Did you have anything else to say?
I was done with that. Do you have anything else you want to say on that?
I mean, if you're too supportive, you may wind up like foiling your chances for a relationship. I mean, it really depends on who this person is to you and how close you are, what your relationship is with them already.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to put yourself in that position where you're this shoulder to cry on or whatever. I mean, help through this emotional time, and then sort of no longer be seen as a sexual being.
I don't know. I feel like you can be the shoulder to cry on as long as that is not your only role. Like you can be that person, but as long as it goes both ways. Like she relies on you, you rely on her, you do things together. You have your primary relationship, and the shoulder to cry on is like a small sub part of your relationship. If the shoulder to cry on is the primary part, then that's all you will ever be. You need to have like a full relationship, and that to be like a small facet of the relationship. But it needs to cut both ways. You know, it needs to cut both ways.
And if you really want to be a good friend, you can't go into this expecting a relationship out of it.
That's true.
So you've got to decide who she is to you, and whether you're willing to lose her as a friend to pursue romantic interest, because sometimes that's the trade-off.
It is sometimes. All right, I'm good with this. You ready to move on?
Sure.
I'm ready to move on. Hello. I am going through quite an awful situation right now, and I ask for your hand and help. My ex and I were going out for like 6 months, and I thought it was going really well. She thought the same until one day I'm on my way home from work when my phone rings, drowning out the radio. I check to see who it is, and her name comes up. I pick it up and put it on speaker, and suddenly loud moans fill the car. Male and female. I freak out and I end the call in horrible fear. I speed home only to find her totally banging our neighbor. When she sees me there, she screams. When she sees me standing there, she screams, and the dude straight up jumps out the open window into our small LA front yard and books it buck naked. Needless to say, he and I are no longer sharing any ribs, and she and I broke up. Now, I realize since she has one of these terrible flip phones, the phone probably fell on the floor and speed dialed me, in case you're wondering. Fast forward to like 3 weeks later. She has moved out and we have cut off all communication, like you should have done. Well done. Good, good. I'm chillin' when I hear her knock. When I hear a knock on the door, I get up to check and see a letter on my doorstep. I open it up and recognize her handwriting. It reads, and I quote, "This is 3 weeks later. How dare you break up with me? I was perfect for you, and you're just some no-good pansy-ass bitch. Be careful when you leave the house and leave the doors and windows locked, bitch. My knives are sharp. I'm waiting for you." Needless to say, I freak out and I end up sleeping in a motel that night. On my way home, I can see her car parked outside of the house. She's sitting in the seat waiting. At this point, I call the cops, and when they show up, she's gone. I tell them everything. I show them the letter. They say if it happens again, call them. I'm freaking out, man. This bitch is batshit crazy, like burn down my house and then commit suicide crazy. Thanks, Anon. All right, I kind of think this is a joke. I don't think this is true. I think
if it's true, I'm very sorry for laughing, but you've got to understand that that's a bonkers story.
This is a bonkers story. I'm going to treat it like it's true, but I'm pretty sure we're being trolled here, but whatever. Good. Wow. Call the cops. Keep the cops on speed dial. Get some floodlights for your fucking front door. Get a fucking restraining order. You can get those pretty easily. Just showing a judge the letter should get you a restraining order, no problem. This is not a relationship advice. This is like safety
legal
advice.
Counsel.
Yeah.
Which we are not qualified to deliver either.
Not a lawyer. Go get yourself a fucking restraining order on this person. And why would she wait 3 weeks to send you such a letter? I don't know. Run for the hills? You sure know how to pick them?
The question I have is how long were they in a relationship? Did it say?
Like 6 months.
How can you be with someone for 6 months and not see something like this coming?
I
mean, maybe unless
different type of relationship, man.
Yeah.
Not everyone's like, serious marriage crazy like you.
Excuse me?
I'm just trying to give you some shit, man.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know how you could not see this coming after 6 months either, especially if you're living together.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess maybe clearly she's kind of a crazy person. Maybe she was just really fucking good at hiding that stuff. It happens.
Yeah, or it's like...
Or maybe he was in denial, or... I don't know.
GTFO.
Yeah, good luck. Let us know how that turns out, because I actually do want to follow up with that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We could always use some, updates on what it takes to get a restraining order for our future notice or future needs. I don't know. Anyways.
All right. Next question. Dear Loving with Bytes, I seem to attract girls with daddy issues. Oh my god, here it comes again. Like a magnet, be it IRL or online. I don't know why or how it happens, but it just happens all the time. They're often cute, clingy, and a little bit crazy. I grow attached to them pretty easily, but I'm rarely attracted to them. It's more of a friendship than anything. I always end up being a close confidant, and sometimes it almost goes further. I've had girls come home in tears and then crawl into my bed naked, basically pass the willpower check. And others being straight up, are very open and straight up asking for a sex buddy when they know I was in a relationship. So far, I've been able to avoid getting involved in romance sex way with these girls, either because I was dating someone else or because they were too young or something. Right now, I'm single and it's putting a pretty severe penalty on my willpower checks. Neil, Ryan, what do I do? How unsafe is it to date a girl with these daddy issues? If I should try to resist, how I pull that off? Here are my specs if that can help. 13 strength, 6 dex, 14 con, 15 int, 17 will, 8 charisma, 14 perception. Race, human, hair short, brown, unkept, and wild, facial hair. Eyes, the color of Sargasso Sea, greenish blue. Alignment, lawful neutral. Age, late 20s. Languages spoken, English, Japanese, French, C, C++, and Perl.
Well, the question I have is why do you even need to roll these willpower checks in the first place? I mean, if you know you don't want to date these people, don't date these people. But
I would think it's when, naked girl crawls
if there's
into
a naked
bed.
girl in your bed, I don't know why.
What do you do? That takes a willpower check.
It does take a willpower check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
you do walk a dangerous line with these sorts of girls, as in if you don't restrain yourself, if you do start something with them, even if it's just physical, they'll often interpret it as more.
If you're wary of it, that's probably a good idea. I don't want to say girls with daddy issues you should avoid like the plague, but it does. I have actually zero experience with this, but I would guess that it makes things a little bit more complicated. You'd have to slow down, be more communicative, help them get over such issues before, unless that's going to be a part of your relationship.
Yeah, in my past, I have found a lot of girls with daddy issues, and from my experience, they would come to me. I don't know if it's going to be the same with our listener here, but I think if you want a quality girl, you can't just sit back and let naked women come to your bed. You're going to have to get out there and put some initiative in, because most emotionally stable, self-confident women are not going to fling themselves naked into your bed. You're going to have to work for those women, and it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
However, that said, banging some crazies is not the worst thing that could happen to you.
Until they come at you with a knife and sit in your front yard saying, I'm going to get you.
That's true. So be careful. Good thing you are strong-willed.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. How do you get into a relationship in general? I'm very tired of waiting and being told to basically sit on the sidelines while everyone is out and about doing their stuff with their significant others. This has been bothering me for quite some time and keeps getting brought back up repeatedly for unknown reasons. Maybe it's because life doesn't like me that much or something I don't know. If you and your guests could help me with that would be fantastic. Thanks from one of your many fans. P.S. The Dota game tonight wasn't that bad. It was awful. It was terrible.
We can play a game of Dota later tonight if you want.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think this sounds like not a very good attitude to have. You can't. No, you don't sit back and wait for life to. You've got to go out there and take responsibility for yourself.
You got to go wrestle. You got to go wrestle a cave woman.
Yeah. But on another level, I don't think you want to be seeking a relationship. You can, but from my perspective, I think you should focus on yourself first, and a relationship will come. I don't know how old our viewer is.
Did not say.
Yeah. So if you're young, and even if you're male, there's no rush. Your sperm's not drying up anytime soon.
Yeah,
So take your time and
don't. Don't focus on the relationship. If your aim is I want to get in a relationship, it's gonna be your approach is gonna be bad. It's one of those things where you don't want to go towards your goal. You want to go to this other thing, and that will come from the side. It's weird. So what you should look for instead is I want to meet cool people, or I want to meet people that I would like to be friends with. And then through that process, you will eventually find a relationship, but that will be the secondary thing. If your goal is relationship, it can get really awkward.
Match.com.
Yeah, you can do online dating.
Plenty of shortcuts, but if you're not looking for a shortcut...
Yeah. If you want to meet a person IRL, not through the internet, which, by the way, I do recommend online dating for those of you that are having some trouble. I have a lot of friends who have met through online, or who have relationships they've met through online dating, or significant others, or husbands or wives they've met through online dating. It's pretty legit.
And even if it doesn't work, it's still good social experience for you. Especially, I'm sure a lot of our viewers, and when we were younger, probably we didn't have online dating when we were. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But for self-conscious nerdlings. It's a good way to build up that social experience and feel comfortable talking to women, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Which I think is what you need to start doing. I mean, you can't just sit back and expect Mrs. Right or Mrs. or Mr. We don't know
We don't know
who's coming from, male or female.
And we know it's male, but still.
We don't discriminate.
Nope. We are from the West Coast, the best coast, the most tolerant coast.
Yeah.
We accept all kinds.
I was going with this. Yeah, giving that diversity spiel.
Yeah, it's. As we said earlier, work on yourself. Go out, find things that you like doing, hang out with those sorts of people, and when you encounter a girl in that field, when a wild girl appears, wild grill or a wild male that is whatever, then approach.
Just talk to her like a person.
Have a conversation. Be like, "Hi, my name is Anonymous. What's your name?"
I love watching Koibu stream D&D on the internet.
I sent in this hilarious question to LoveBytes once. You don't know what LoveBytes is? Well, let me tell you. First off, you should sub to Neil for that. And secondly, let me show you the episode. Ha ha ha. See that troll question I sent in about all these naked women crawling into my bed all the time? Yeah, that was totally me. And then you play off of that, and then she's like, oh my god, this guy's actually interesting because he's talking about other things. Anyway, meet a person, talk about things that you're interested in. Don't, be passionate about yourself and the things that you do, and other people will be naturally attracted to that.
Yeah, and don't put the relationship on a pedestal.
No, yeah.
Don't build it up like this thing you have to get, and also don't meet every woman or as if they are, the ultimate woman that, don't go through the test. Okay, I'm meeting this person. Oh, but she's probably not going to be my soulmate. Well, you can still talk to her and enjoy conversation. You could even date her and try it out, and you might not, you might be surprised. Worst case, you have some good experience.
Because if you see a girl and you're like, well, I don't think she's relationship material, making that judgment right away is breaking so many things because you may not know who she is for a long time. It took me 4 months to kind of really understand who my current girlfriend is. When I first met her, I was like, oh, she's this way, and well, I don't think she's relationship material for these reasons. And then when I started to get to know her a little bit better, I was like, whoa, she's not relationship material for these other reasons. And here we are 4 years later, because she's absolutely relationship material, right? But at the beginning, I didn't think so because I had these preconceived notions. So, don't judge people too quickly. Be ready to a little bit longer. And also, even if they end up not being relationship material for realsies, then you can also, that's a person through which you can meet more possible people. So don't discard people. They're useful. Everyone's a tool in your closet or in your shed.
I don't keep people in a shed. Am I
doing
it wrong?
You keep your tools in the shed. I'm using a metaphor. Everyone's a tool for you, right?
Okay.
What did Delita say? Everyone has to act the roles they're giving.
So who's the hoe in your shed?
Ryan, I don't know how to break this to you. But your name does start with Ho.
What was that game? Okay.
It was StarCraft.
StarCraft.
It was StarCraft where you made
StarCraft
Hobgoblin.
Brood War back in the day. I got super excited that I went into register for my account and I was like, oh my god, guys, Hobgoblin was open as a username. It's never open. I mean, it's a common enough thing, and people who aren't D&D nerds like comic books. Stupids.
Yeah, there's no reason.
But anyways, and I was like, "Whoo, I got Hobgoblin." And Neil goes, "Ryan, your name is Hobgoblin." Doe.
Yeah, and ever since then you've been.
And that's where the H0B came from.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got that.
I think we killed that one. All right, next one from Anon. Dear LoveBytes, I'm a role player. And specifically in this instance of a written role player in fantasy and historical areas. The past few years I have found myself surrounded by female writers in an increased capacity, many of which can be categorized as seemingly into me. I have Skyped with multiple, and me wielding an English accent of +2 charisma, and most of them being from other places, holds a strange power. What kind of power? Examples include a couple of them wanting me to relocate and get closer, or even suggesting they'd move closer to me. One has even pulled the "if we're both X age and still single, should we get married?" or "we should get married." I share a huge amount of interest. I share a huge amount of similar interest with these girls. I consider them dear friends, and I can speak to them for hours a day, and people that brighten my online experience. For me personally, I have had little to no desire to engage in any physical relationships yet in my life. I've also had no problem getting by the nerd without a girlfriend. Getting by being the nerd without a girlfriend. I'm one of those people who's always idealized a relationship to start with friendship and grow into boyfriend girlfriend, and all the girls I'm interested in are in locally are taken care of, given the particular crowd I belong to. I have many lady friends online, a lot of which are single, but they are not even close to local. But this is all about one of these girls in particular. I am not the almighty Pimpernel after all. The flirting with this particular lady I have developed, or the flirting with this particular lady I have developed a big crush on, who is my age, 21, and is in the States. In the past couple of months, has managed to spill over into some of our role playing together, where she will bring up my characters and acts of passion or romantic plot lines while teasing more hypotheticals. So much so that a couple of instances have started to look like pages torn out of a forbidden Chippendale analogy or anthology. Now, finally, here are the questions. Am I making more out of this flirtatious behavior than I should? Do you think a long distance relationship could actually work in this case? If so, should I harness the power of balls to venture asking? Naturally, I'm worried that I could ruin the particularly close friendship we have already, as I am enjoying it, and it's a great spirit booster for someone like me. I found online friendships to have a tendency to be extremely volatile in comparison to in person friendships, so I'm cautious of that force of habit. Sorry for rambling, and I hope I gave you enough coherent information to go by. Thanks, longtime viewer. Love both of you guys. Well, why don't you just go brag about yourself for 3 paragraphs before you
Yeah, you
actually
sound
get
like
to a question?
sounds like a
Jerk.
pretty awesome dude. I don't know why he needs our advice. I think you should get
Seriously.
his advice. Um,
Okay, so you're in the state. The girl that you like is in the States, but you're in England or the UK, or you have that +2 English accent of charisma.
uh-huh.
Whatever. Like, online relationships are hard, or long distance relationships are very
Yeah,
difficult.
I would hesitate to jump into one of those things.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I
Aaron and I did long distance for 3 months. Well, I moved up here while she was still in California. That's
how'd
only
that go?
1,000 miles, same coast, and it was still shitty.
Yeah, it's rough.
I can't even imagine cross continents.
Uh,
That said,
I
I
have
mean,
friends who did cross continents for like 3 months, and with the
mhm.
8 hour time difference, it was just brutal. You know, she was always like calling him when she wakes up when he's about to go to sleep, and one of
Yeah,
them is constantly like in a state of intoxication when talking to the other person.
yeah. That
Yeah,
said, if you don't take yourself too seriously, overseas romantic interludes. I mean, it probably depends on your financial situation, but
yeah.
hopping on a
Um,
jet to go on a hot date in overseas.
I don't think you're making more out of the flirtatious behavior. Like it literally, if you guys are doing acts of passion in game and it sounds like a Chippendale thing,
She's
she's
probably into you.
probably into you. Or you can at least reasonably say, dude, how could I not take that as hitting on me? Like, there, if she plays, oh no, we were just friends, it didn't mean it. No, no, clearly there's something going on there. No one does that without, like, I would
Well,
never do that with any female friend of mine unless I was super into her. Be like, oh yeah, my character takes your character, and then I actually have to censor the rest of this because Chippendale's pretty dirty sometimes.
yeah. This is something that I don't necessarily know a lot about, so I probably have more questions here than advice. But I mean, when you're dealing with these sorts of situations, you've got the like safety net of the internet, so that is something you do have to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Like you can say things on the internet that you wouldn't say in person.
yeah,
I mean, so if you're in like a role playing group in person, and you make these sort of very obvious advances, you can't take it back.
yeah.
Whereas if you do it on the internet and someone's like, I don't know, tries to take you up on the offer out of character, I mean, you can say, no, well, Skype call closed. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
there's that. Yeah. And also, I mean, this is something that I'm sort of curious about. I've never had this experience, but I mean, so much of your perception of a person is based on physical cues, like body language, which you can sort of get through Skype, but not really. And then even like odors and all sorts of things that you can't get over the webcam. I'm just curious how that goes. Like if you meet someone online and then meet up with them in person, I imagine it's sort of like having to meet them all over again.
Yeah,
Even though you do have this backstory. I don't know.
People do it. I would just be wary of the long distance.
So I would, I would hesitate to jump into something. However, I mean, if you're well-to-do and you can, fly out to see these girls, or they're willing to fly out to see you, I don't know. Seems like a grand adventure.
Yeah, that would be great. Flying across continent to, for a hot date and for like a week or so, a couple of days. Maybe a week would be too long. Who knows? 3 or 4 days sounds like a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Cultivate it, but
good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. I
don't know. I hope that answers your question as much as possible. And congratulations for your awesome life that the rest of us are jealous of. Jackass. All right, next question. Explain nightclub mechanics. What's the protocol? I just don't understand.
The wrong guys.
Is it just drinking and dancing with expensive drinks, music you don't control, and strangers who you're unlikely to talk to, loud and crowded? Am I missing some sort of social code? Thanks. No, nightclubs are retarded. They're completely stupid unless you're going with your friends and you all love dancing and hanging out together. Like, if you're going by yourself, it's lame. If you're not there to specifically just dance and drink and be silly, then it's a waste of fucking time. They're awful. I hate them with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. I suggest avoiding nightclubs, and specifically unless you're going with friends and you can hang out with your friends while you're there.
Yeah, nightclubs were not designed for men like us. There are plenty of people out there, like highly or low reactive extroverts that need an incredible amount of stimulation to feel satisfied. So if they're not in a room if there's not lots of music or lots of noise or lots of people, they feel understimulated. What?
Just the way that you explain that is just like, yes, these people who need a lot of stimulation to feel satisfied, who are much, much lesser than we prestigious, high reactive people are,
Okay.
It just sounded like really condescending. It was hilarious. I loved it.
That's what I'm here for. So yeah, but chances are that's not you. Let those people have their fun and their loud, crowded dance floors, and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Let's hop on to the next one. Neil, completely spelled wrong. Like Niel. That's not even close, dude. It's not even close. Anyway, you answered my question during the 90-hour stream, but you misinterpreted it, probably due to sleep deprivation, so I think I should try again. I have dated my girlfriend for more than 2 years now. We are in high school now, and after some drama between us and her parents, she moved. She is now closer to me, but in another school due to weird school district lines. We rarely see each other, and she's taken a lot harder than I have. A couple of weeks ago, she told me that she wanted to break up. She thought that I would have given up on the relationship.
This is the guy that you recommended. I knew so was coming. You recommended that he go to call a suicide prevention hotline, and I was listening to this and I was thinking,
I was wildly.
This guy is not trying to kill himself, Neil.
Well, okay, but yeah, there we go. And she thought that I would have given up on relationship, not on life. Wow, I wildly misinterpreted that one. Holy shit!
And you didn't even address the questions there. You were just like, Go to counseling.
Yeah.
Turn off the stream and call a suicide prevention hotline.
Seriously, wow, I botched that one. Well, that's what happens when you're 80 hours without sleep or
Anyways,
whatever.
You want to finish the question?
Yeah, after she told me we wanted to break up, she thought I would have given up on the relationship, so she thought I was simply not stop contacting her. I didn't, because I did not think we would ever come to a situation where this would happen, because we have waited for each other for that long. I thought that one day wouldn't be much more. After a bit of arguing, she told me that she didn't want to break up with me, but she chose to break up with me regardless. It was that day that I first emailed you that we got back together. I think it might have had something to do with me emailing you and you not understanding what I was trying to say, so I'm forever grateful for you not sleeping. I'm confused, but we'll keep going. Anyway, last night she told me that she didn't want to do this, and right now, as I type while you play Dota, she texted me that it wasn't because we don't see each other much, and that she's with all of her friends and their spouses. Oh, she texted me that it was because we don't see each other much and she sees all of her friends with their spouses. Now, my life revolves around her so much so that with other people, not my girlfriend I interact with, I make sure that they will not have any attraction to me, alienating myself from them emotionally so that I can absolutely ensure that there is no conflict between us as we are both very jealous about each other. Please, I need advice because I'm doing everything I can, but I don't know what is happening to us. Sorry that was long, but you asked for questions, and I think this was a long one that would take up some unfilled time slots. Thank you, anonymous person.
So this guy's in high school, right? Said
We are
where
now in high school. Yes.
yeah, I feel like he's taking it all too seriously, and I mean it's a
What happens in
influential,
high school?
tumultuous time. Thanks, dear. Tumultuous time. I mean, that's what adolescents do. They feel the feels so much more.
The feels are so strong.
But it just it just sounds like a lot of drama that you probably don't need to deal with. I mean, so my advice is just move on. I mean, if she's flip flopping on the whether she wants to be in a relationship, just let it go. I mean, you can stay friends and stay on good terms with her, but just like
Stuff. Yeah. I mean,
you're young. I think you're valuing this higher than it needs to be.
The old man in me wants to be like, dude, you're in high school. Don't worry about it. You're gonna end up dating a ton of girls in the rest of your life anyway. It'll be fine. Just write it out, and it'll be cool. But I remember what it was like in my first relationship when I was like, oh my god, it's not working. What am I supposed to do? Ah, and like the inner Neil, the child Neil, is like, no, we must try and fix this. So what I would say is, you really need some solid lines of communication here. You need to like visit her one day and sit down and be like, sweetheart, this isn't working. This is so difficult and dramatic and crazy. We don't have a chance to see each other much, but we really like each other. We need to like have a discussion. You need to like, have a real heart to heart where you both talk about, explain everything to each other and really hash out the issues in your relationship. Like, is it really that you just don't see each other and she needs someone who's going to be there for her and you just physically can't do that? Or are there some other issues that here? Like, if it really comes down to you're too far apart and she needs more, like she needs a boyfriend who will be there in person for her, then there's nothing you can do. And so you can just ride it out as long as it'll go and then be sad when it stops and be depressed for a year and then get over it and continue on. They've been dating for 2 years. If you're dating someone for 2 years in high school and then you break up, you'll be depressed for a year.
I guess that's like 12% of your life or something like that.
Yeah, like it's a pretty big deal.
It's heavy.
Yeah. So at that point, if that's the situation where she just needs someone who will be there in person, you're fucked. Unless you're gonna move, you're screwed.
You said they were closer together than they were before.
But they still don't see each other. It sounds like
different schools.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Go ahead.
I almost wanted to say I disagree with what I feel like the relation. I mean, you're a kid. I mean, so don't make this out to be more than it is. I mean, it's your life and have fun with it while it's happening, but try to have some perspective. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing that did sort of worry me is he mentioned he was alienating himself.
Yeah, that's not good, dude.
It seems like a reasonable reaction in the short term, but if it goes on, if you're getting over a breakup, sure, maybe for a little while, but long term, that's not going to be healthy.
Yeah, you want to make sure that that you are constantly making friends, because especially once you're out of high school or college, you start losing friends. Like, even friends who are closer to you than anyone else, like your closest friends in the world, you move somewhere else, they move somewhere else, you start dropping, and you need to, like, having friends is way more important in life than we give it credit for. So don't distance yourself from other people. If you make friends with a girl and then she develops this big crush on you, and then your girlfriend gets super fucking jealous over it, then you'd be like, whoa, I'm gonna talk to her. And then you talk to your friend and be like, whoa, like that you can't have feelings for me. It's not working. Like, we need to take a step back. Like, you have that conversation. Approach this like, how do I want to say this without being condescending? I want to say approach it like an adult, which is kind of condescending. But what I mean is, continue doing the things that you're going to do in your life. Don't pretend that you can ignore everyone other than this one woman for the rest of your life, because that's honestly wildly unrealistic and not even all that romantic. It sounds really depressing and sad. So go ahead, continue making new friends, continue meeting new girls and being friends with them. And if this thing with your current girlfriend doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Like, don't. Life goes on. I know it hurts, but life goes on. I swear.
And also have some self-respect. Like, don't let her keep jerking you around. I mean, if she breaks up with you and then she doesn't break, and then she unbreaks up with you and then she breaks up with you again, at some point you should tell her that you're not going to put up with that.
Yeah,
and not even at some point. The first time it happens, you should tell her, "I'm not going to put up with this.
Yeah,
you're with me or you're not."
Yeah. Yeah.
Move on. I mean, you can be friendly with her, but you don't want to be in a relationship with someone that keeps jerking you around, unless they're jerking you around.
Baby.
I don't need your commentary. I'm trying to be badass for the internet, dear. Jeez.
We have a nice troll question here that we're just going to skip over.
I want to hear it.
All right, we're not going to do it, but Neil, I have a crush on someone. I can't tell him how I feel because he's just so strong and intimidating. We play lots of games together, such as Dungeons and Dragons. He's obviously the dungeon master. I don't know what to do. He's just so amazing. I wish I were with him. What should I do? Thank you, Ryuzilla. But it's clearly sent from someone that's not Ryuzilla, so we're skipping.
Who knows? Who knows?
No, clearly. Mm-hmm. Moving on. I was talking to my friend about Call of Duty, and I was talking shit to him, like regular friends do. I told him I was going to dom him. He invited me over after that, and when I got there, he was wearing nothing but a singlet and a bottle of lube. It turns out he thought I was going to give him dom, not dom him. Dome? Dome?
You can dom. You can.
I don't.
You can D-O-M-E. Or you can give them dome.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways,
what should I have done in that situation? I didn't want to give him dome, but I also don't own my own copy of Call of Duty, so I can't afford to burn this bridge. Was that the right thing to do? Sincerely, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, that's a troll question, Neil.
Troll question. Yeah. Moving on.
Don't play Call of Duty.
Don't play Call of Duty. Play Counter-Strike. Don't use my name, please. Hi, Neil. I broke up with my ex 2 years ago, about 1 year on and off, and haven't been with a girl since then. Literally, she downright crushed my heart to pieces, and I had a good year of grief period after that. Called it. Year of grief. Totally fed up with women in general and that dumb stuff. We had a pretty messy relationship, and I've known I've been somewhat scared from that experience. Cheated on me, lied to my face constantly, and terrible stuff like that. I really was madly in love, and after all that, to this day, I really hate her. Hate has like arrows pointing at it from both sides. As mentioned, this was this was 2 years ago, and since then I really have trust issues. And recently, about a week ago, realized I buried many things deep inside me and never really got over most of it. The problem I have since then is I am terribly harsh in certain situations. I have adapted this absolutely no bullshit at all ever rule. And if I realize a girl is starting mind games with me, even in the slightest, or if I have even the tiniest bit out about their honesty, I'm out immediately. I'm kind of at a loss here. I think I really crash and burn most possibilities I have with most women, and I realized I'm actually fucking scared to death by emotional attachment. I always thought things would figure themselves out, but after 2 years, I kind of think I should have figured it out by now. For reference, I'm 21. I already eat steaks and hit the gym. All right, so I like your no bullshit attitude, but sometimes people are shy and they're not trying to play mind games with you, but they're too afraid to approach a situation directly. So sometimes people will like walk around the edges and do things that sound like mind games, but in reality they're embarrassed or afraid or whatever.
And even good people fuck up and make mistakes and get insecure and play minor mind games that are probably worth overlooking.
Yeah. I would realize that other people are flawed and they make mistakes. And if you're being with someone and they start doing that mind game something or start doing some sort of bullshit thing, then have an adult conversation with them. Be like, wait, I'm sorry, what did you mean by that? Because I don't really understand. And ask them to actually clarify. Like, the cornerstone of any solid relationship is communication. And so when someone says, what do you want to do tonight? And you're like, I don't know. What do you want to do? And they're like, I asked you first. Then you're like, hold on, what the fuck is going on here? Is your day okay? And then like, no, I'm sorry. I'm just taking things out on you because this other thing happened. And then you're like, oh, well, I'd appreciate it if you didn't take it out on me. And let's talk about. And then she's like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. And then you work through it. Like, that's one of the things that you have to, that they don't show you in Hollywood and media, and so you don't think it happens. Like, you kind of have to learn on your own to actually have a real discussion with people. And when people like try and skirt around corners or be evasive or do bullshit, just call them on and be like, "What do you mean by that?" But like, do it in a approach it as like genuinely curious. Like, well, what do you mean by that? Honestly, okay. Well, does that imply this? No? Okay, cool. Oh, all right. I misunderstood. Or, oh, you misspoke. Or, oh, you were just shy about this. Okay, and then you can actually deal with the subject at hand. Be straightforward and have real honest conversations with people. Like, honest conversations. It solves everything. It's so much easier in life.
Yeah, and be willing to forgive them. They make mistakes and they own up to it.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty jarring experience. So ease back into it. Try and get out there, meet women, get back in the dating scene, enjoy it.
Yeah. That's what I got for you. Well done. Good job, Ryan. All right. Uh-oh. The title of this is The Three Magical Words.
Uh-oh.
Dear LoveBytes duo, I am an average 22-year-old male, and I had like 2 relationships that really meant something to me. Sadly, my last relationship ended in January of 2013. For the past 3 months, I've been going out with a 7 out of 10. Occasionally, we have had sex. Or occasionally we have sex, and not just because we have sex, but because we share some interests and stuff like that. And I'm convinced that I'm in love with her, and I want to tell her that. Now my question, how do I find the perfect time to say I love you? I keep wondering about that, and I don't want to take random chances with this kind of thing. When is the right time, or how can I make her say I love you first? Best regards, Anon.
How can I make her say I love you first?
All right, buddy.
If anyone figures that out, that's probably some wisdom to
you fucking sell that shit to people for like $100,000. All right.
Yeah. Here's ebook.
Here is the reality of the situation. When you're like cuddling with your girl or doing whatever with her, and your heart just starts beating, and you're overcome with that, like, oh my god, she's amazing, I absolutely love her, but I'm too shy to say anything. That's when you say it. Because when you're in that state of mind, when you're in that like, oh my god, she's so great.
I thought you were going to say, that's dopamine.
That's dopamine. And when your body... when you're feeling that overwhelming emotion with her, that's when you say it. Because chances are she's feeling the same way too. And it's embarrassing. And it's really hard to say that shit. But you just do it. You do it when you yourself are extraordinarily happy with the relationship. And you do it in person. A real man does it in person. All right? None of this over the phone, none of this by Skype, none of this by text bullshit. All right? A letter might be acceptable, maybe. Maybe, but fucking do it in person. Man up.
And I don't know if you want to wait. I think if you really do feel like you're in love with this person, you should get it out there now. Unless you have some good reason to have reservations. I mean, because best case scenario, she feels the same way. Worst case scenario, she doesn't, and you probably want to GTFO before this goes any further and takes up any more of your time.
Yeah.
Depending on what your goals are and where you see the relationship going. But
yeah,
it sounds like you're looking for something serious. So
just do it when you feel it the most.
Yeah. And do it sober.
Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, absolutely do it sober. I assume that was a poke at Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron.
She sprung it on me while we were drunk.
Oh, it's okay.
Here we are 2 years later.
From the guy who's like with the girl that pocket dialed him with everything, blah 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 blah, and left the letter and everything. He responded back saying, "It's totally legit, man. And thanks. I'll probably look into getting a restraining order and probably buy a taser."
Yeah, I would worry more about securing your house.
Yeah.
Like I
Change
didn't
your
like if you're first
locks.
floor versus second floor. Windows are certainly a vulnerability. I mean, it's all situational, but you got to evaluate that sort of stuff. Not just for crazy ex-girlfriends, but zombie apocalypse or communist invasion. You need to know these things about your residents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so be prepared.
Um, all right. Well, I think we are just about out of time here. We got a few more questions. We got 3 more questions, but I don't think we have the time to answer them because it is time for
Try
us to wrap up here.
Keep this to a strict hour.
Yeah, more or less an hour. We also have Mafia that was supposed to start an hour ago. Whoops.
Is it going on your stream?
It's supposed to be on my stream, but I completely botched the timing and forgot that there was Mafia today.
Oh,
So.
my bad.
No, it's not your bad in the slightest. It's my bad because I completely forgot that there was Mafia today. Whoops.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
are there people like banging on your door? Mafia time.
I don't know. I can't change
I mean,
the Skype look, otherwise they'll show Skype. Anyway, yeah, probably. They were rioting in chat earlier. I'm glad that we got some more questions. If you guys have any more questions for LoveBytes, you could send them to koibu@realgoblins.com. And as I say that, another one comes in. Ryan, what do you have to say to the lovely internet and all the people on YouTube?
I hope I didn't destroy any egos tonight. But...
Do you have any last gems of advice?
Oh gosh, I've got more advice than I have a right to have.
Just give us another gem.
Oh, I don't.
It could be a diamond in the rough. Doesn't
I
matter.
don't know. Stop watching porn.
Stop watching porn, guys.
Shit'll fuck you up.
Cut out the porn.
Go to the gym. Stop watching porn.
It gives you unrealistic expectations of a great many things, and gives you no advice
Rewires
whatsoever on
neurons
actual
and
performance. Yeah, it's great for the quick moment, but it is not necessarily conducive. That said, well, let's not. Never mind.
Frontera.
All
right.
So many stories.
Let's wrap this up.
All right. Dicing with Death is Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Sunday at 2:00. Whenever
Sure.
you want, dude. I can do any time this Sunday.
7 a.m.
Fuck you.
2 o'clock works fine.
2:00. Good. But we might have to move it like after, not this Sunday, but the Sunday thereafter. We might want to scoot it a little bit closer to noon if that works, because I think we might move roleplay back to a Sunday schedule.
Yeah, Sundays are pretty much sitting on the couch days for me, so.
Nice.
It's all good.
Yeah. Oh my, you got booed in chat. Stop watching porn.
Oh god. Okay, I'm not gonna get yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We might be doing Mafia right after this. I'm not sure, so stick around. If we're not doing Mafia, I will be doing something else. And
Dota with Ryan.
We could do the Dotas with Ryan. That'd be great. And yeah. See you guys next time. Bye bye. Say goodbye.
Bye.